Thanks for tuning in to 101.3 BKMG The Farce, coming to you live from separate places, pre-recorded. Now presenting The Bane and Mickey Show.
Here we are.
The show is starting.
We're back.
The show is starting.
We've returned, and I hope y'all have your popcorn and your drinks and your candy and your
all overpriced
hot dogs and nachos. Totally overpriced, but that's what we're here for because we got to make that moolah that we're not
more
making
like
at
that
all.
movie law.
Oh, snaps.
Because we're talking about going back to the movies.
Back to the movies. We're going
where
back
we go
to the
back
movies.
and watch them.
Let's go to the lobby. That's the one you were talking about.
Not right? The lobby, Kendall, the movies.
Whatever. Speaking of movies and all things good, have you seen anything good recently, Gavin?
Only good things? Well, I don't know if I have anything. I've been watching mostly smut.
Great, that's fun.
I just finished a bunch of shows. I finished Criminal Minds, Counterpart, Animaniacs, WandaVision. I watched Wacko's Wish, and then I've just been keeping up with the Return of the Arrowverse shows.
Okay.
What about you?
I recently watched The Society, which is a Netflix show. It's kind of that stereotypical Lord of the Flies, a bunch of teens without adults kind of thing. How do they not kill each other? It's pretty good. They were supposed to have a second season that they were going to film last summer, and then it got postponed, and then it got canceled. So, but I think some people are trying to pick it up because Netflix is stupid. I've also watched. I've been on a bit of an X-Men and comic book phase the last couple weeks. So I was rewatching X-Men Evolution, that good old 2000s cartoon.
Yeah.
And then
my introduction to the X-Men cartoons, actually.
Yeah. And then in that I also started watching the X-Men movies. And I was watching, so I'm kind of watching them chronological, but then I forgot to throw in Wolverine. So I got to go back and watch that before I watch the old ones. So I watched First Class and those four. Because then it would be...
I'm sorry.
I know, right? They're not the best ones, but it's also kind of since they follow a lot of the comic plot lines and stuff, it also kind of correlates with X-Men Evolution, which is interesting to see those story arcs. At least they can get a couple things right, okay? Not all.
Well, they didn't age for 30 years. None of them.
That I know. That's also, yeah. Or my friend called Days of Future Past the Time Traveling Logan show, which is,
Which is accurate.
It's accurate.
It's also the best one.
It is, only because of Quicksilver. That's the only reason I like that movie. I was telling them that the Quicksilver scene in Days of Future Past is one of the best cinematic scenes one of the best scenes in cinematic history, and then the scene again in Apocalypse is one of the second best scenes in cinematic history. And honestly, I don't know when they're just gonna make a Quicksilver movie because I would pay big money for that.
I don't know if Quicksilver's that interesting on his own, though.
Are you serious? I could watch him play ping pong by himself all day. Just.
So listen.
It's just an Evan Peters movie,
if
okay? Okay,
that's fine. Have you watched WandaVision yet?
No, but I do know spoilers about it. So.
Well, you get plenty of Peters in there.
Yes, I know some of those ones.
But listen, if you want to pay for 2 hours of him playing ping pong with himself, that's fine. I just don't know if you can make a decent movie out of it.
It's just, I just love all of his stupid things he says. He's like, and then I had some time, so I checked your registration, saw that you were out of town, and then and I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Or what if it's just the movie, but same movie, but his perspective, kind of like Lion King 1.5.
That would be actually so amazing.
So X-Men Apocalypse, the Quicksilver version.
If you took all 3 of those movies and it was just what was he up to? at the time.
And it just shows all of his crimes that he's committing.
Yeah.
Can't prove it.
I will say though, whatever. I don't care for off topic. I will say though, the really stupid offhand comment he makes while they're sitting in a cell where he's just like, yeah, he's my dad, and like blah 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 blah. It's like backstory in 3 sentences. We don't care about this character, and I'm like, are you serious? This is like one of the best characters, and B, the fact that they completely turned around his storyline from the original, which is he's supposed to be more or less a bad guy, and they're just like, ha, we love him, so he's good the whole time, and I'm just like, you can't just offhandedly say his whole life story in 3 sentences and call it good. But whatever. Redemption! I want redemption!
Redemption!
And a Quicksilver movie. Anyways.
No, I don't think it'll work.
Okay, you know what, Gavin? Go away.
Alright. Anyway, that's the end of the show, everybody. Bye.
That's all we were talking
like 10
about
minutes
today.
long. Just how Kendall wants a Quicksilver movie, and I think that's a dumb idea.
Okay, whatever! You don't want a movie that's entirely in slow motion where everyone else is like frozen the whole time and he's just running on a treadmill with fans in his face?
I just watched the Snyder Cut, so I'm good.
Okay. Yeah, so today we're going to talk a little bit about going back to the movie theaters. It's been a year of being in the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic. And
Yay.
And movie theaters are starting to come back again.
They've been sort of opening up the last couple months, but now that more states are moving on, they are becoming more open.
Mm-hmm. And with the vaccine coming out and stuff, it's been able to do that more. Yeah.
I remember right before it was, I think, I'm going to have to look it up because I don't remember when it came out, but I saw Invisible Man.
Oh, uh-huh.
And that would have been in February. So yeah, like coming out right at the end of February. And I was in Seattle and I went to the Mopop Museum and we saw Invisible Man like just a couple days later. Oh wait, I would have seen it early March, I think. Yeah, early March, like right at the beginning. And then everything closed down.
Yeah, I can't remember when I think because I saw 1917, and I think it was in like January of last year. But the only reason I didn't see any other films was because I was in a show at a play, so I was kind of busy. Otherwise, I don't know what came out. But yeah, it's weird. I mean, I wouldn't say I go to I like to go to the theaters and I go as often as I can, but I'm also a working, starving artist. So spending, money, especially at big expensive theaters, is, not something I can always do. But when I am able to and I have the funds and the time, that's another thing, is I have a really busy schedule. So whenever I have I love to just go and enjoy it. And I'm a kind of person who I'll go and see movies by myself too. There is something about going to movies with your friends. I grew up doing that a lot with friends in youth and stuff. But there's just also something nice about taking like a time to yourself and being like, I'm just going to go sit and enjoy a movie for 2 hours, but in a nice space, eat some popcorn or whatever.
I never really got why that was a weird thing that people didn't like doing.
I don't know.
Because you watch movies by yourself at home, but
not in the theater.
By people, and then that's weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just a film person thing.
I don't know.
Or an introvert thing. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe that's it. People just can't fathom spending time by themselves, even though you're surrounded by people.
What is that? I would not know that at all.
Who can even? I think the last movie I actually saw by myself was Kick-Ass 2.
Oh my god, I love that.
And then I walked home afterwards.
Yeah, see, I love also, I've been lucky enough the last couple of years to live like within walking distance of a theater. And so there's just something, especially because I have such a busy schedule with theater and film, and then I used to be in school. You're always also surrounded by people and the same people. So having that like one day off where you're just like, I'm just gonna take my headphones, walk to the theater, enjoy a movie, walk back home by myself. It's really nice and refreshing.
Yes, it is.
So whatever. Y'all can judge all you want, but I'm gonna keep doing it.
Sure am. And while I'm excited the theaters are opening up, I don't plan on going for a while.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting. I've been on and off going to the theater here. There's two theaters here actually. There's a Regal theater, and then there's like a small independent theater. The Regal theater has been closed this whole time, but the small one's been open. And I've gone a couple times when I felt comfortable. I go usually in the middle of the week at a matinee because that's when a wide population of the town is in school because it's a college town, and also kind of depending on the town climate and what the ups and downs are with numbers and stuff right now.
Yeah.
But I also if it was just the Regal Theater, I probably wouldn't go. I just like also supporting like the small local businesses, and so being able to help support keeping this local theater alive warms my heart a little bit. Because there have been plenty of theaters, and not just theaters, a lot of small businesses that have closed down in the last year, unfortunately. So doing a little bit to help.
I feel like surrounding is a big part of why I'm not going, because I don't trust most of the people that live here to be healthy and not be disgusting. So I don't go.
Yeah, I'll only be here for another month or so, although by the time this episode comes out, I might have already moved. I don't know when this one is airing. But when I head back to Washington and I'll be in the greater Seattle area, I do not see myself going at all. There is a small theater by my parents' house that just reopened. And my parents were going to go look and see kind of what their precautions are right now. But until we know that, I won't be going when I go back home. But my parents do at least have, a nicely sized TV and my brother's sound system. So I won't be missing out too much. But, there is still.
Yeah, we recently upgraded our sound system. So
yeah,
we have a bigger TV. So like it's not like... But there's something about the theater experience that is really
for
nice.
sure. Yeah, and I mean...
Especially there's movies that we've talked about or are going to have talked about, depending on when this airs and when other stuff airs, but that are definitely better in theater the first time you see them anyways. Like...
Tenet.
Tenet, I think, would have been a good one. Inception's a good one. Pretty much any Chris Nolan movie is really good in a theater.
I think it was maybe Melissa who was talking about like it. Maybe it was Maria. I don't know. Who like that first time you see a film is really impactful and can bring like this memory and nostalgia to every time you rewatch a film. So there is that, and of course I think we've also mentioned there's no way you can recreate the theater experience at home as much as you try. So
right.
But yeah,
unless you invite over like a bunch of strangers, overcharge them for snacks, and let them make a mess of your space that you then have to clean up.
And you just own a private theater, anyways.
Well, that also. I remember sort of talking about that. Every time I went, so I saw Iron Man, the first one, like a few days after it came out, and there's a part that, it's when Tony's flying over and he tells Rhodey that he's Iron Man, and he's like, "Oh, just tell him it's a training exercise." And he's like, "I'm not going to say that." And then it cuts to him saying it's a training exercise, and everybody in the theater laughed. I still think of that every time. Also, unrelated, hi, Mom, because I know you're probably going to listen to this.
I'm not sure if my mom has started listening yet, but hi. Anyways.
Very unrelated, but anywho.
But speaking of parents, so you know how what was it? Maybe in July or August they announced, like the big theaters announced that you can like rent a theater out and like go watch a movie with like up to I don't know how many of your friends, but my parents' neighbors are like members of AMC or whatever, that club member thing they have, and they had a discount, and so they rented out a theater and invited my parents to go, and so my parents actually went to one of the little private theater things. I think there was maybe like 6 people in total, but they had the concessions open, and they're like the only ones there, and then they just have the whole theater to themselves. And I was like, that sounds so awesome. Of course, it's not like something they would do regularly because it's very, very expensive. And the only reason they went is because our neighbors had like a discount and invited them. But I don't think I could ever, afford to do that. But I don't know. It's something fun about that. But also at the same time, the last couple times I have gone to the theater, especially when I've seen some like reruns and classics, I've been like the only person in the theater. And so it's, paying like $5 instead of however much it costs to rent out a theater like they started doing. But
I've seen a couple movies with no one else in there.
yeah.
Saw Hellboy, the new one, which I've already said.
Uh-huh.
And I saw Superman Returns.
There have been a few times I've gone where I'm the only person, or I'm with like a small group of friends and we're the only people. I think I went to see Purge President's Day, and it was like me and my 2 roommates.
You mean election year?
Or yeah, whichever one. I think election year. Never mind. Yeah. But we're like the only people, and then I don't know. There's some other movies. I mean, if you go to a movie when it's like later in its run, it is more common to be the only person there, which can be nice. Yeah.
I prefer it.
I actually okay, so would you prefer being the only person in a theater, or in an overly crowded theater, or in a theater where there's like you and your friends and like 2 other groups of people?
I feel like it would depend. I feel like there's movies, I mean, we literally just said it, but have that communal experience where it's better.
Uh-huh.
But to use a different example, like later Marvel movies
Uh-huh.
in their later run, especially like Endgame and Infinity War, they really benefited from having like a bunch of other people who are also really excited to see it. So you get all that extra energy from it.
Uh-huh. I think it's also like if it's you and your friends and like a couple other groups of people, I feel like it can be kind of awkward. Because I think either no one wants to say a word, and so they're like scared to react or interact with the film, or there's just a real, I don't know, I think it can be kind of awkward when it's like those like in between times. But there are definitely movies that go a lot better when there's an audience. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but I mean, what even is in theaters right now? Why are they reopening, and why would people want to go back?
Because people want to return to normalcy, man.
I know.
They just want everything to go back to the way it was.
And it's definitely something that people have been missing out on. It's kind of there's different types of people in the world, and I would say there's like sports goers, and then there's cinephiles and movie goers, and so like
sports goers, they're still doing sports.
Yeah, they're still doing sports, and they can watch them on TV, whereas like movie people, we haven't been able to go to theaters. We have been able to get some new content, but it's all been watch at home, which most of the movies that are coming out right now are those simultaneously released movies that HBO Max has been doing. Like they did.
I don't know any other
Wonder Woman
thing. I think it's just HBO Max has been simultaneously.
I think so, yeah.
Releasing. I'm pretty sure no other ones have done it. Disney's only done like 2 movies, but it wasn't simultaneous. They just were like, it's $30 to watch it at home or go to the theater.
Yeah, but
and then if you get sick, that's like
because
a few $1,000s.
HBO Max is partnered or owns. Is it Warner Bros. Now?
Warner Brothers owns HBO.
Oh, okay. So they're
simultaneously releasing all their 2021 movies.
Yeah.
But I just saw an article today that said 2022 they're not doing that anymore.
Which is
because of some new deal they struck up.
Which is fair. And I mean, I I wonder if it like well it certainly lowers box office because you're either paying just through your subscription or if it's like Disney where you pay $20. $20 is like honestly can be the cost of a single
It's
ticket. And
30
so
bucks. It's 30 bucks for
really? Well, but
it's
even still,
29.99.
if you're taking your family to the movies and there's four of you compared to you're watching it at home with your family, that's a quarter of what they would be earning box office wise. Not to count whatever goes to the actual streaming service compared to just the movie itself.
Yeah. Well, I guess in a household with two people and two cats, that's not really worth it to spend 30 bucks on a movie.
Yeah. So it kind of depends. But I can understand why they would stop doing that simultaneous release and at the end of the year.
I think it was just sort of to encourage people to stay home longer.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. But yeah, I mean they did so they simultaneously released Wonder Woman and then
Wonder Woman,
the Little
Judas
Things
and the Black Messiah.
Judas and the Black Messiah.
Little Things was
Little
first. You're
Things.
right.
Well,
Then
actually,
Judas.
Land or no, Land I think is on Hulu, but that was in the theaters.
hmm
Godzilla, they'll will come out
It's going to be.
in
So yeah, it
April.
was Little Things, then Judas, then Tom and Jerry.
Oh yeah, Tom and Jerry.
Which I did actually watch.
Yeah. How was that?
It was actually not
What's your raving
not
reviews?
terrible.
Not terrible.
It's actually pretty good.
There's
Kind
also
of like Roger Rabbit
Oh yeah,
style, which was
yeah,
it actually worked pretty good.
kind of. It's kind of like because it's the live action and the cartoon, right? Like back Looney Tunes back in action kind of
Yeah, just like that
combination.
actually.
Okay.
Where like Tom and Jerry are still animated and they
Uh-huh.
still have animated characters and stuff.
But they live in a human
And
world.
yeah,
On a
it's very
rating
strange.
on a rating of kids movie to entertaining for older audiences, what would you give it? That's not a
I mean,
scale,
I
but
feel for sure a kids movie,
yeah.
but if you're someone who grew up watching Tom and Jerry or likes Tom and Jerry or Looney Tunes, then or likes that mixed media format, then
hmm
I think that it's a good movie for you. I liked it.
Okay. I mean,
I'd probably watch it
I
again.
loved Looney Tunes and Tom and Jerry growing up. And actually, I saw that they have like all of them or most of them on HBO, so I got really excited for that.
It made me really want to just start making mixed media movies. Like that's all I would want to do is just make cartoon live action
Characters.
movies.
Who needs friends when you can have little cartoon friends?
No, you still have some actors, but they all interact mostly with cartoons.
There's all there's also this is really stupid, but the Croods movie, they made a sequel or
Oh
whatever.
yeah,
I don't
that came out.
Is that also online somewhere? I don't remember.
It's out, released, and you can get it on DVD.
Oh, wow. There you go, folks. There you go.
It's been out for a while.
Oh yeah.
Very forgettable.
Fair enough.
I didn't watch it, but I don't really plan to.
Yeah. I know some other movies that are finally coming to a wide release. These are films from like Sundance and stuff from over this last year are like Cherry with Tom Holland, Minari
Oh yeah.
with Steve Yeun, who's been nominated for lead
There's
performer.
also a show coming to Amazon.
Yeah, and then I think Land was also a festival film, but these are films that like you hear about them in earlier in the year, but you can't actually watch them because they're only released for festivals, and the way festivals work a lot of times is you have to wait until after the festival and after things have been judged and stuff to release it widely. So these are films that are finally widely released and available for public audiences. Now's the time to catch up on your Oscar films, although by the time this airs, I think the Oscars will be over. Oh well.
Or maybe it will.
Or maybe it won't.
I
Who
don't know.
knows? Other things that are coming out that people are looking forward to is Mortal Kombat is a movie.
Yeah.
Not sure how that's working as a movie, but that's fine.
Did you watch the trailer for it?
I think I might have skipped the trailer when it came up.
Ooh, you should though. It's so good.
Okay. There's a film called Nobody with let me look up his name real quick. But it's like a hitman who like retires and then they find out he's a family man and then they
It's got Bob Odenkirk.
Yeah, Bob Odenkirk. It looks interesting. It kind of makes me think of a little bit of John Wick. I don't know why.
Maybe
Just
like a funny John Wick.
Yeah. And then there's 6 Minutes to Midnight is another film that's coming out. And then, of course, the Godzilla versus Kong movie, which will come out. I think that'll be a simultaneous release on HBO Max and in the theaters.
The other thing, though, that's interesting about the simultaneous release is that it's only for like 30 days.
Oh, yeah.
So they don't just leave it on there forever.
Which is
probably
very
come back, but it doesn't just stay on there.
It doesn't. Gavin, are you excited for Godzilla vs. Kong? I saw the trailer. Well, the trailer came up multiple times. The first couple times I skipped it, and then I think I finally watched it through. And as much as I like CGI monsters fighting each other, I don't know about this one.
Am I gonna watch it at some point? Yeah, probably. But I don't have any. Like, I watched the original Godzilla that had Bryan Cranston and Aaron Taylor Johnson in it. I didn't watch Kong, Skull Island. I think I watched Godzilla King of Monsters. I don't really have any plans to watch this. I think the last King Kong movie I watched was the Jack Black one. By Peter Jackson.
I like that movie. I have not seen any of the recent ones. And I mean, I've seen the originals, but yeah, I don't know.
I haven't even seen the originals.
Didn't there's a reboot of Godzilla that's just called Godzilla?
Yeah, that was before the King of Monsters one. That's the one with Bryan Cranston and Aaron Taylor Johnson.
That's the one I've seen. I have not seen King of Monsters.
Also, I found the list, and also coming to HBO is In the Heights. That was Lin-Manuel Miranda's first thing.
I'm so excited for that. I saw a full trailer for it the other week. Oh, it looks so good.
I saw one today.
Oh,
the new Space Jam is coming out. The Suicide Squad. That's one I'm most excited.
These are all simultaneous releases.
Yeah, on HBO.
Sweet.
And the 4th Matrix movie in December.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize that was a thing. Why?
I knew it was a thing. I just have no interest in watching it because I didn't watch past the first one.
Yeah.
Because I heard it wasn't really worth it.
Well, interesting. Good to know. Yeah, and we'll see what else comes out this year. I don't think anything has really been
I don't remember
stated, especially because it would usually be stuff that was filmed last year or the year before.
Well, I think a lot of what's coming out is stuff that was supposed to come out last.
Like postponed movies. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I know they postponed Fast and the Furious. Black Widow. Black Widow might come out this year.
Oh, yeah.
Cruella's going to come out this year.
Oh, Cruella,
Malcolm and Marie came out this year with Zendaya and...
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, I forgot his name. John David Washington.
Yep. John David Washington was in like 3 or 4 films this year, and I was like, damn, bro.
You can calm down. Raya. The
dragon one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Raya and the Last Dragon.
Coming to America.
Oh, that actually, yeah.
Oh, the new Saw movie's supposed to come out this year.
Exciting.
Yes. Quiet Place 2 is supposed to come out.
2.
A new Conjuring. That Mermaid movie.
Dune will come out in the winter.
What? Oh, yeah, Dune. Top Gun 2? What? I thought that already came out. Some new Cinderella. The Green Knight with Dev Patel. Jungle Cruise. I'm just reading this off a list.
Mm-hmm.
Hotel Transylvania 4
might
come out.
Why is there a 4th one?
I don't know if this came out yet, but Free Guy.
Oh, that hasn't come out yet, but they did release a new trailer recently.
May 21st. Yes.
Did you say May or April?
Yes, May.
Because I was going to say April sounds like a joke to me. April 1st. But May, that's exciting. Yay, they finally have a day. That's good. I'm excited for that one.
I mean, they had one before, but we'll see if it actually happens.
They kept pushing it. Oh, and James Bond is supposed to come out as well.
Didn't they just push that again?
They did just push it again, but it will come out this year at some point, hopefully, maybe.
Scheduled
Who knows?
for April. Nope.
I think they pushed it to December.
October 8th,
Yeah,
2021.
I do know. So like right now they're filming the next Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
They're also filming Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
So those might come out in 2022 because those are both kind of heavy effects movies. Okay, so here's the real question. Was 2020 supposed to be a Marvel year?
Yes.
Did that get
Big time
rearranged?
Marvel year. Mm-hmm.
So now how many of those Marvels are coming out in 2021?
So
Or
many. It's
so many. Or are we having a couple in 2021 and a couple in 2022, and so everything is going to get messed up, and they're going to break this Marvel year streak thing that they've had?
Well, they already broke it.
Okay.
Because they didn't release anything last year.
But they've always done like breaks.
Black Widow. You know? No, they've had at least 2 movies every year.
Oh, okay.
For the last several years, until last year. So I know WandaVision was supposed to. Well, WandaVision came out on time. But Black Widow came out before, or Black Widow and Doctor Strange 2, I'm pretty sure, both supposed to come out before. Winter Soldiers, Falcon and Winter Soldier's coming now. Then we get Loki, then Black Widow. Wait, no, Black Widow, then Loki. And I'm pretty sure the new Spider-Man comes out later this year, too.
Will it be later this year, though? Because I know they've only been filming since, like, maybe November.
December 17th, 2021.
Wow. Okay. I mean, I get that. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I guess that makes sense.
Okay. I don't know how official this list is. So, Shang-Chi might come out later this year.
Oh.
And Eternals.
Ooh.
We might get 4 movies this year.
Wow. All right.
So,
making it up.
Black Widow in July, Shang-Chi in September, Eternals in November. November 5th, actually. Spider-Man No Way Home on the 17th.
Alrighty. There we go.
And then after that is Doctor Strange. So basically like 2 years after it was supposed to come out, I'm pretty sure.
That's okay.
Loki's coming out in May. So I think it is coming out before Black Widow then.
Yeah.
Because we had WandaVision. We got...
Wait, Black Widow's Falcon not until now. July?
That's what it says.
Oh.
And I feel like I remember mentioning it when we were talking about Tenet, I think. Oh, this says it might come out in May. I don't know. Anyway, but I feel like Black Widow and Tenet and a lot of these other pushback releases are going to suffer from like heightened expectations.
Yeah.
And so the anticipation's going to make them seem not as good as they would have originally, however good or bad they may have been.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like it's going to downtick.
Well, I'll always be excited for Spider-Man, so whatever. But
listen, I'm not ever going to be unexcited about any of them, but I feel like there's the part that's going to make it just less good.
Yeah. And I have been, I mean, I think maybe the series are different, the ones that are on Disney Plus. I am excited for Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I need to get on that, but also I know it doesn't matter, but I want to watch WandaVision first, and so I need to sort that out and sort my life out. But I have seen a couple things from Falcon and Winter Soldier, and it looks so amazing. So
I surprisingly have seen almost no spoilers. And it's been out for nearly a week.
Yeah, I'm a person who I don't really care, and then I have a couple friends who are pretty into it, so I'm just like, yeah, whatever, hit me with the...
I mean, I want to know, but also I want to find out. I don't...
Yeah.
Like, I don't want spoilers, but I also want to know, like, right away. So I have a hard time not clicking on spoilers. They're like, spoiler, and I'm like...
just watch the episode. Yeah, no, I feel that.
Let's see what's going on.
I feel that. Another thing that movie theaters have done, especially some smaller ones over the last year when they've been able to, is bring back some like classics and some old movies and some fan favorites. Mostly just to keep the theaters going and running because, of course, if they don't have new movies to release, they can't make any money. But they've been able to make, and you know, I don't know how movie theaters work. I know you have to like pay to more or less rent the movie for a certain amount of time to get the rights to show it. So that, you know, there's the way they can do that with old movies like I went and saw Star Trek, Wrath of Khan, and 2001: Space Odyssey, and recently saw The Thing. But I think the theater was recently showing. They recently showed all of the Hobbit trilogy.
The one here showing Lord of the
Oh,
Rings, the last one. I
Did
saw
they
they
show
also
the
had like
other
Shrek
two?
and Kung Fu Panda.
Lord of the Rings?
I don't know. I haven't kept up on what they're
Blasphemy if
playing
they
at all.
skipped them. What the heck?
Only because I don't plan to go to
That's
it.
totally fair. I also just see the marquee. It's on the way to work, so I always like see what's playing, which is But
I have to go all the way to work on a Saturday. All the way to work.
yeah, I do. But yeah, it's kind of cool to kind of revisit these films that like either you grew up with, like Kung Fu Panda, or if you're older, then like Back to the Future. Or if you're younger and you weren't alive for those movies, then you get to see them in a theater and experience, that.
Right. That's what I was going to say. Is like you can also experience them in the theaters for the first time. Like I never got a chance to see Lord of the Rings at all in the theaters.
Mm-hmm.
So if I wanted to, I could go.
Yeah.
But also, I don't want disease, so I'm not.
Which is totally fair. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, yeah, like I got to see The Thing in the theater, which is cool because I've seen it multiple times, but yeah, never in the theater. Again, there's just something about the theater and that experience that you can't recreate otherwise. So I like
I
taking
would
that
love to go.
opportunity. There's also like I mean, it also depends on the theater, but they can charge less for these reruns in a sense. So here they call them $5 movies. So paying $5 to see a movie from the '80s is fine by me.
Pretty good. It's probably how much it cost in the 80s.
With concessions and all that, yeah. Yeah, overpriced.
Speaking of overpriced and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, have you seen it's like a meme going, it's like a text Tumblr meme or something where Bucky finds out how expensive movies are and he's like, why do they want this too? And he like pulls off his arm and slams it on the table.
I haven't seen the
like,
pulling off the arm thing, but I have seen various memes where either about comic books or like movies where Bucky's like, what the heck happened? Everything was so cheap. And they're like, yeah, man. We're in
inflation.
The 2020s now.
Everything's so expensive.
Yeah.
Thanks, inflation.
Indeed. Yeah, but I mean, for sure, it's all, don't go to the movies if you don't feel safe. And, if you live in a big town or they're big theaters or you're expecting a lot of people to go, don't go,
Or if you do go to theaters, be safe.
Be safe, wear a mask, socially distance.
Maybe bring some hand sanitizer.
If you can, buy your tickets ahead of time so that you can ensure that you are spaced out, which I think some theaters are doing. But yeah, hand sanitizer, freaking washing. Concessions are fun and all, but if you're in a theater with other people, maybe opt out this time around so that you don't have your mask off while other people also have their masks off and they're eating. It's whatever. And then just keep a note on your numbers in your locality. Stay in tune of what's happening around you, and
keep up with local news.
Yeah.
Don't do drugs. Spay and neuter your pets.
This has been our very brief PSA because we don't want to get too political. But you know what? We love y'all. Stay safe.
Politics. It's just it's good sense.
Good sense.
It's not politics.
Yes.
It's good sense.
Yeah. And
good sense and advice.
As the spring and the summer come around, hopefully things will start with lifting up. It kind of depends. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about movies.
We're here to talk about movies.
But I mean, I think that's a good kind of wrap up to the whole theater thing. So should we move on to
random
topics?
I actually have a thought on a random topic.
You do? Oh my god.
If you could see any movie in the theater at the time it was released originally, what would you go see?
Ooh, that's so hard. Do you know? Since you've...
No.
Oh.
No, I just thought of it.
I think I would probably have to see... I couldn't choose just one, but I'm a fan of all the 70s and 80s, like, horror classics. A lot of those ones that really brought kind of that dark, macabre world into social acceptance. You know, I would love to see Friday the 13th, Halloween, but then even like all the sci-fi stuff like E.T., Jurassic Park. Don't that's more fantasy, you know. But then Star Wars, like all of those things. Oh, that was an
That's so weird.
age to be alive, and I was not.
My answers are going to be kind of the same.
Yeah,
like, I would love to see those movies when they originally came out because I'd like to see how they were received then and how they actually compare like in their time instead of
for sure
20, 30 years later. I was thinking Psycho, like going to see Psycho for the first time.
Yeah, well, especially those movies, like especially Hitchcock, where it's like no one really made films like this before, and so it's like what is happening, or films like, you know, films that have critical like cinematic improvements, bringing it back to the classic original movie of the train rolls into the station, and the audience just being shocked by this three-dimensional image coming towards them. Stuff like that, where like with like, I don't know, Jurassic Park and the CGI dinosaurs, I know there's probably
Jaws,
or there's films like Blair Witch, where people didn't even realize it was fake and they thought it was a real documentary.
This is Spinal Tap.
That would be fun. Yeah, stuff like that.
But just, mostly in the genre of like movies that seem not as impressive now just because there's been so much stuff made since then.
But it's like these were really cool to huge. See. Like 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Maybe I would fall asleep.
But maybe you still would, because I know some people still did.
But maybe not back in 19 whenever that came out.
Yeah.
Maybe I would have been encaptured.
Yeah.
Thank you all for listening to our topic and Return to Theaters podcast. I don't know why I said the title. That might not even be the title. But thank you for listening to us. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah, and follow us on social media. We have an Instagram.
Bane and Mickey Podcast.
Bane and Mickey _podcast. On the Instagram, where we post updates about this week's episodes and special guests and fun stuff. And sometimes we post stories asking you for feedback and topics and comments. So make sure you're paying attention.
And check us out.
And be sure to share with your friends if you enjoy listening.
Please.
All right, I think that's
also milestone. We just hit like 250 downloads.
Heck yeah! And this is in March. I don't know when this is airing, but
thanks, guys.
Anyways, thanks y'all. We love it, and stay tuned for more.
Continue to download and listen.
Yep. Have a good week.